Hello, Willowbrook family. Today we are reading from 1 John chapter 4. If you're old enough, do you remember those cartoons where a character is facing an important moral decision and they're torn between what to do? On one of their shoulders is a little angel telling them the right thing to do. But on their other shoulder is a little demon telling them the wrong thing to do. The very first verse of chapter 4 broadly addresses this truth. You can't believe everything you hear. It says, "Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world." John here is specifically talking about a group of people who broke off from the church. Now, as you know, we first heard about them back in chapter 2. They had rejected Jesus as the Messiah, and they had rejected the fact that he even came to earth as a real human in the flesh. In fact, in the second verse of chapter 4, John gives us the first test for these people to discern if their teaching was from the Spirit of God or a spirit of deceit. Here's a good rule of thumb. If a teaching or a suggestion or a thought about Jesus is of the Spirit of God, it will affirm both the deity and humanity of Christ. And then there's one more test John gives, and it is a big one. In verse 7, John says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God. And everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. The one who does not love does not know God, for God is love." I believe that this group that broke off from the church never knew God to begin with. And this is seen by their failure to love their fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. You know, this is not only a test for those people back then who broke away, it is also a test for us today. And there are major truths that this test tells us about ourselves. The first thing, if we are really serious about our love for God and our right relationship to Him, it'll show itself in our love for other people, especially fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. In fact, John uses very strong words here. If you do not love, you are not from God. Wow. Now, the second thing in this test addresses the times that we are filled with anxiety and fear. Everyone at one time or another will have a time in their life when they are worried and anxious. And sometimes this can last for a while. Now, if you are going through this, I want you to look at verse 18. "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear." John encourages us all through this chapter to work this truth into our lives, to understand and to celebrate the kind of perfect love that God showed us by sending His Son to die on a cross. We are highly valued by Him, and He wants to carry our pain. But sometimes it takes a while to roll our anxiety off of our own shoulders and to place it onto His shoulders. So, as you work through this process, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. Don't listen to the voice that will deceive you and tell you that your anxiety is a permanent part of your life, but instead, listen to the true voice of God, who loves you and has already proven His love to you by dying for you. and never, ever leaving you. And it may take some time for you to accept this, but allow his love to remove your fear. Have a great and thankful day in the Lord, Willowbrook.